Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. The bracket at VCT Champions is officially now underway, and what a result we had yesterday. Fnatic going down to Loud in an emphatic performance from the Brazilian team, the reigning world champions, let's not forget. This leaves the bracket looking very interesting indeed. Fnatic will have to fight all the way through the losers bracket, and even if they make the grand finals, they will not be having that veto advantage. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. So much to get into. Wow, what a day of VALORANT action yesterday. Beginning quickly with this, Zeta Division, after a disappointing season, no doubt, they won the LCQ in the APAC region, they made the World Championship, they got bodied out top 16, okay, they lost to Fnatic, still favourites for the tournament, you could well argue, and they lost to NRG. Solid teams, but nothing crazy. NRG didn't even make it out of the group, let's be honest. So they have now decided, Zeta, to open, as we've seen with other teams, open applications basically. So if you want to apply to be part of Zeta, you actually can. You can send in like a Google Doc and they'll do interviews and all this stuff. Other teams have done this to pretty decent success, so they are looking for players, coaches, analysts, everything. Their intention is to win the next year's VCT in the APAC region, in the Pacific region. So they're taking it serious, and they are looking for any and all opportunities to try and make that happen. Quickly on 100 Thieves as well, we know that they competed and won, did they not, the home grounds in Manchester late last year in December time. There will be another Red Bull home grounds this year in Tokyo though, and 100 Thieves are going to be there. So we don't know exactly what 100 Thieves roster is going to be. We don't exactly know what changes they might make after Champions. They will make some, I can be pretty confident of that, and we believe they're going to be cutting back in terms of salaries and funding as well to a certain extent, but they're still going to be out there in Tokyo for the Red Bull home grounds, so that's a pretty cool update as well on that side. Also wanted to mention NRG. Lots of questions as to what they do. They didn't even make it to the bracket play of this tournament, despite the fact that Finesse, Crashies, Victor, great trio on the Optic days. They don't have Ye anymore, they have Ares, and he was, good at parts of the season, not so good at other parts of the season, but Som, I would argue, has been their best player this year on average. And this is where it gets complicated for what NRG do. You could easily, let's say that, it was Crashies and Victor that were doing most of the heavy lifting, and FNS, of course, being the IGL. You'd say, right, fine, drop Som, get Marved back, drop Artist, get Ye back, right, and just run it back with the Optic days. And that would make sense in that scenario. But with Crashies and Victor not playing so well, and with FNS's IGLing style getting called into question somewhat, especially given losses against Billy Gaming twice in a row, and Som being their best player, it's like, what do you really do now, right? You can't drop Som for Marv, it doesn't make any sense. And if you trade out 1-for-1 change Artist for Ye, does that really take them as much in the right direction as they need? I'm not sure it does. So there will be questions being discussed there behind the scenes at the moment, and Marved gives us our very first, really, expect the unexpected of the off-season. We'll see plenty of tweets just like this over the coming days and weeks, but usually when this is tweeted, it means that something's happening. It might not be much, but some discussions are being had, I'm sure, as to what these rosters are going to do, but of course it's going to come down to the World Championship results as to which teams make moves, because if Loud win champions and they stick it out, then if Aspas is no longer available, then there's questions as to what Sentinels might do if they were considering that option going forward. Now let's talk about the actual matches from last night, because Loud Fnatic, man, what a crazy series. All of the bracket predictions are coming in. We have Tarex here with Evil Geniuses taking it with a ridiculous losers bracket run, where he has them beating DRX, Fnatic, Foot Esports, and Edward Gaming to beat Paperx in the finals. I don't know if that's going to happen, but, naturally it can't happen because of the way that the bracket with Fnatic is being set up at the moment, and we'll get into that in a second. But to be fair, Fnatic basically have to do this now, and we'll see in a second. Now, this was Chet's prediction. It's funny in a way how basically everyone released this prediction just before the first series of the day, and almost everyone, I think apart from Jake, I saw Cloud9 Jake, his predictions actually had Loud beating Fnatic, which was, I thought, pretty impressive, but almost everybody else's predictions were immediately invalidated by this first series. But this is based on scrims and match results for him. So from what Chet has seen behind the scenes in practice, he actually has Billy Gaming beating DRX, EG taking down Edwards, and then he's got EG beating Billy, he has Fnatic winning the whole thing, Paperx making it to the final, so pretty, bog standard graphic, I suppose, or prediction bracket, I suppose, here, apart from, I guess, Billy taking out DRX, which would be a surprise if that happens today. But let's talk about the series, and I'm really happy with the storylines that this develops, because I was beginning to think, given the recent performances from Fnatic, that they were basically unbeatable, and they'd seemed this way for some time. It just seemed impossible to actually take them down. But we get a team that comes into this series in Loud, believes they can win, and actually executes upon it. And it's incredible to witness. Now, yes, Loud are and Fnatic, historically, they've had some crazy games. Let's not forget the event in Sao Paulo, Brazil, the start of the year, where Loud should have won, right, on the Icebox. They made their crazy comeback, Fnatic, to win the entire thing. Loud knew they could do it. And that's exactly what they did. Game 1, Ascent, will be really entertaining to see this map continue in the rest of the tournament as well. But Loud eventually win it, boasted with a nice little clutch here to take it to 12-11. But in the end, it was 13-11, and Loud get the job done Game 1. Then they go to Lotus, a map where, actually, this is crazy stuff. Fnatic is 13-2 on Lotus this year, and now I think it's 13-3, actually. And the 2 map losses they'd lost on Lotus were to Loud. So it's actually very interesting that Fnatic did this, because I believe that Loud said after the series that they looked into Fnatic's play, they'd actually taken some strats from Fnatic on that particular map in Lotus, and given this is the record, you might have thought Fnatic would steer clear of the map. I don't know if they were too confident, that they thought, you know what, we've lost it a couple of times to these guys, because both times they lost, they only averaged 7 rounds when they lost this to Loud. Like, it's quite clear that Loud have their number on that map. But Fnatic went for it anyway. They decided to play it in this best-of-3 series. They possibly could have gone to Pearl, and that's, I think Fnatic said that, and Boasters said they might do that in their losers bracket run, because Lotus doesn't seem to be working against Loud, and again, they go and play the series, and it's the 13-6, right? Again, like, Loud just get the job done. So, this is incredible. Loud back to form at champions. Crazy stuff. They lost the first round to Derke. All this talk about the team was an absolute meltdown. The drama was overflowing. And I still think that there is friction there. Like, I don't think that this stuff was entirely made up. But still, Loud, as I mentioned, literally the first day they lost to DRX, they've still got all the talent. They've still got all the pieces. Aspas is just so good. Les is so good. Like, the entire, literally, world championship winning team. Okay, a few changes, but like, the team is still insanely talented, and they have what it takes to beat Fnatic. And actually, against Fnatic historically, they do very well compared to this team. So what a result here from Loud, and it just proves to other teams that Fnatic are beatable. Chronicle didn't really come to play at all yesterday. Derke got heavily diffed by Aspas. Like, it can be done, and it'll be exciting to see if other teams now capitalize on that and say, you know what, we're not just going to play Fnatic knowing we're going to lose 13-8, 13-5. Like, we're going to play Fnatic knowing we can actually beat them, and it was comfortable in the end for Loud, right? Especially that Lotus was emphatic. Now, look, this was a rare defeat for Fnatic. They've only lost 2 series this season, and well, this was the second one. The other series they lost was in the grand finals of their own region against Liquid, which was definitely a massive surprise at the time. But you can't win everything, you would think, but Fnatic generally do win everything. So now they're in the losers bracket, and this just creates such a great storyline for the tournament. And as I said right at the start of the video, even if Fnatic make the run through losers, as they are definitely still favourites to do, and I don't think that this match will necessarily define the rest of the tournament, they can still make the losers bracket run, and they probably will. But even if they make the finals, they will not have, whoever they play in the finals, they will not have the veto advantage. This to me was one of the big reasons why they won Masters Tokyo in the finals against EG, was that they came through the winners bracket into the finals there, they'd beaten EG before, and they could just ban Fracture, right? They just banned EG's 2 good maps, they played the rest of them, and as far as I'm concerned, EG had like 0 chance to win in that situation. If it had been roles reversed and EG got to ban Fnatic's 2 favourite maps and play the maps they wanted, I think that series could have gone 5. Fnatic probably still win, but I think it would have been way more competitive. So Fnatic are going to have far from an easy time now through to the grand finals, which is great to see. And if we do get Paper X Fnatic, it's unlikely to happen on current evidence before finals. It might do, for sure, but we're going to have some great games. Now, Derke immediately hits the timeline here and says $0 organizer said it'll say 0 Team Region, roasting EMEA, and Derke's roasting them for having no money left in the bank. Interesting decision from Derke, right, or just any player that loses a series to go straight onto Twitter, but like, fair play. I guess he's got impressions to farm, and it seems like, based on what we're hearing here, at least from the Fnatic camp, the way they responded to this series, I still think they're very confident they can make this run. I think they just didn't really show up yesterday in a surprising fashion, but you can't show up every single day, every single series. But indeed, Chronicle with a surprise wasn't really anywhere this series, and Aspas completely jet diffed Derke on the on the Jet and on the Raze. On the Ascent was 13-11, and then Lotus is 13-6, as I say. Very comfortable indeed. Chronicle 4 frags on this one. You wouldn't expect that to happen again, and I don't think it will, and the losers bracket will be scared of Fnatic coming through. However, the other series, there was no upsets in play. There was an absolutely phenomenal performance here from something, and this is just what makes Paper X, right? There was so many rounds. These guys just play Valorant differently to anybody else. Something decides to pull out the Reyna here on this Ascent and actually gets a disgusting ace with it, to be fair. So, I mean, like, what can you say about this guy and Paper X as well? Look at the play, just running through the Viper wall. Doesn't matter. He's on the Reyna. We hadn't seen it used this tournament at all so far, and yet that's when they use it. And even a couple of rounds later, just look at this round here. Like, I guess I'll just have to put this on the big screen for you guys. The average Paper X round is Willminder. So in goes Jig, just flying in with the shorty, gets that kill, and Fnatic Sports are just like completely lost. Like, what do we do in this situation? Mindfreak's trying to get this kill around the corner. Like, Valen is just pushed into this corner here, and in come the boys. I mean, what do you even say about this gameplay at this point? And Paper X go up 12-9, and eventually they win the series quite comfortably, right? A 2-0 over Fnatic Sports, and yeah, Fnatic Sports I think quite lucky to get through their very easy group, let's say, and make the brackets, but Paper X definitely got the job done, and they will move on for the rest of the tournament. Now to play Loud, I mean, I thought we were going to get Fnatic versus Paper X early here. We're not. 13-10, 13-4. The bracket is like this. Loud, Paper X, the winner of that goes to the upper finals in a couple of days' time. But today, the big games start with DRX Billy. Very interesting that Chet believes, maybe he just believes Billy are going to win because they beat NRG, and therefore he's like, all right, well, I've got to pretend these guys are very good. I still think that DRX should be favourites here, but I don't know what to say with DRX, because I predicted them to go through their group 2-0, which they did, and I'm happy that I did. But then I was thinking, well, I've got to stop believing in them in the playoffs because usually they fall short. I've got to take them to beat BLG though, surely. Unless BLG are really like something very special, which they might be. But I'll take DRX with a 2-1 and then EG EDG, the series that I've been looking forward to for a very long time, and thankfully it's going to happen. I'm favouring EG. I'm going to give EG the 2-1, but this is going to be spicy, man, and Kang is probably going to come to play. So very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.